anyway, but thank God.
Speaking of departures, speaking of departures,
yes, departures.
There's a couple. Well, one already in Houston with Russell Westbrook, and another that might be imminent with James Harden. And our guy Stephen Silas, who we had on about a month or so ago, was giddy because he was going to have a chance to coach James Harden and Russell Westbrook, two of the best in the business. Now he may have neither. He may have a complete rebuild on his hands. Who knows?
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously Harden is not likely to spend the season in Houston. I think we're realistic about that. So the team suddenly is a completely different thing than what he thought was going to be, and not what he signed up for. But it's too bad. We root for him. We're pulling for him. We were hoping that things were going to, he was going to walk into a really good situation. Instead, he's not going to walk into a good situation, and it's already poisoned. With Harden's behavior, and too bad, Stephen. But he's a big fella. He'll get over it. But still, this is not what he had in mind. I know.
Well, my biggest issue is twofold with Harden. Is number one, supposedly you wanted John Wall there, right? You wanted this trade, and now after they make this deal and they get rid of Westbrook to get John Wall, and you're also getting rid of a first round pick, protected, albeit, but still first round pick. You've got John Wall. Supposedly he's in great shape, according to some people who have seen him play here in the last couple months. And now you don't show up. And what are you doing at this point? I just feel like Harden's always been a guy that's never had those intangibles. I've talked to enough people that have been on that team with him over the years, and they say he's got no leadership abilities for the most part. He's aloof. He's different. And now, again, isn't he just forcing Houston's hand? And what choice do they really have ultimately, Bob? You go the other guys that have done this in the past, right? Whether it's Anthony Davis being the most notably coming out with his agent, Rich Paul, basically saying he's not playing for New Orleans anymore. What choice does Houston have if ultimately James Harden just says, you know what, I'm not reporting?
Yeah, it's not like if he sits out, he's missing a paycheck or two isn't going to make a big difference in his life. That's for sure. I think he's cashed a few good ones along the way. This is not a shock that he's doing this, because we did hear that he wasn't returning their phone calls. Nobody could get in touch with him. So that was not a good, not a
good sign.
No. So this doesn't, that he is doing this is not a shock, but so this is the reality, and they got to be figuring it out, because the Jersey connection has been, the story all along.
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, the Brooklyn connection, and is what that.
How do you think that plays out? I mean, again, Kyrie, KD, Harden. Obviously, the talent level there is immense. I mean, those are three maybe of the top. You can make a case those are three of the top five, or certainly 10 talents in the
10
NBA.
For sure. 10 for sure. And I don't know. I mean, that's and a new coach, but an interesting new coach, that's for sure. A respected guy, a guy that everybody
no ego.
A guy that the players, some of them are even going to look up to, as a matter of fact. And now we don't know how he's going to handle day-to-day situations and all that. As a coach, we know he knows his basketball, and we know he's a very strong-willed person. But anyway, Steve Nash is an interesting choice. Oh no, that would be they would be suddenly become the focal, the team of interest in the league. The curiosity factor. It would certainly be New Jersey would be the appointment TV kind of team. That you'd want to see how it's going to work out if they ever were to pick up Harden. There's going to be enough of that already. As we want to see how Durant's going to return and what Kyrie's going to have to offer too. So
I don't think they have to mortgage the future though for James Harden. To me, they've got really good young players to complement KD and Kyrie, right? Whether it's Karis LeVert
or Allen.
Jared Allen's been way better than I thought he'd be. Spencer Dinwiddie. I do feel like if Kyrie could somehow get his head on straight, and that may be too much to ask, but if he could, and KD could kind of figure out a way to massage whatever issues he's had in the past, because they're super close. This team has what it takes to win the East, don't they? I mean, listen,
Yeah.
you're putting pre-year
So
rosters.
Are we going to assume 100% return on Durant or not? No, no. I mean, Achilles. He's 30. He's older than you think, than you realize. He's been around longer than you know.
He's got a lot of miles on him, is what he is. I don't think he's as old. I think he's only 32.
Yeah, but I mean, that's older than you think. I mean, somehow he projects young. You think about him that he's a kid. He's not a kid anymore.
He's 32, turns 33 in next September. So he's 32 years old. But again, now he's had multiple injuries over the last few years. So you start to wonder whether he's going to come back. And Kyrie also hasn't been the model of health over the last couple of years.
Oh, no, he's missed a lot of games. And there's no question. So, yeah, it's a big fantasy there. It could work out. Yes, it could. But it could blow up in their face too. And but it's worth the shot for them though. They need to make a splash. I'll tell you one thing, they've got an owner who is at the bottomless checkbook. I mean, the endless checkbook and a desire to win. Joe Tsai. I can tell you that guy is serious. He's going to be somebody to reckon with in the league in terms of ownership. And he's serious. So they're going to be intriguing. I mean, one way or the other this year.